Welcome to the Casual Movie Club, the podcast where a couple of guys, Brian and John, watch a movie and rate it and discuss it for your listening pleasure. I'm your host, Brian, and with me as always is my co-host, John.
What's up? And it's so good to hear your voice once again, good sir. Welcome back.
I'm back, baby. I'm better than ever.
It is so good to have you back. Let me just say, I think I held down the fort pretty well.
I'd say you held it down beautifully.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
As you held it down as well as a supervillain's lair.
Oh, absolutely. Because no need to call in the Cape Crusaders for that.
You handle it all on your own without your boy Wonder.
And that, of course, we are talking about Batman from 1966. We're talking the original, where that silly little theme song came from.
Pow. Blam.
Thwack.
Kerplunk.
Blurp.
I saw Blurp. Blurp was ridiculous.
So I gotta ask, because I couldn't really tell from your facial expressions and the probably 10 or 15 eye rolls that I counted. What did you think of this movie?
I was keeping it pretty close to the chest. This movie took a while for me to warm up to. I've seen this once or twice before, but I was very, very young, and my dad had it on. And I didn't sit down to watch this movie. This was kind of on because my dad was watching it. And I remember highlights of this movie, but I don't remember much. Okay. Granted, I remember the shark repellent because that's ingrained in pop culture. And I remember a lot of the car chase, some of the car scenes, some of the submarine scenes. But I don't remember any detail. Okay. So watching this movie again with fresh eyes, start to finish, I gotta say I'm not on board with the camp.
Okay.
It's I appreciate for what it is, and again I warmed up to it eventually.
Yeah.
But this movie was not made for me.
I respect that. You know, and one of the things I have to say, and before I go into that, I'm going to say that this movie will always have a special place for me because I've watched it. You know, I watched it growing up. I watched the TV series, you know, growing up as well, and they originally considered this movie to be the pilot for the TV series.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you know, like every episode of the TV series was a lot like this. You know, it had some kind of plot by some, you know, diabolical villain, and then you know, Batman and Robin race to the scene and they save the day and everything's wonderful, you know. So I watched a lot of that, so this does kind of take me back when I watch it, but to that end, I don't know what this movie is in terms of genre. I mean, is it meant to be funny? Is it meant to be, is this a, you know, is it not meant to be funny, but is it sort of the cultural equivalent of kind of how a superhero is? Because if you think about movies from that time period, you know, in that sort of vein, you know, you had like some of the James Bond movies around then, you know, and I can't remember if that was still Sean Connery or if Roger Moore had taken over by then, or maybe he was in the 70s, but you know, like where your you know, kind of superhero or your savior of the day is kind of this almost silly, like cocky, you know, kind of character. So I'm not sure how to classify this movie.
Yeah, now that you bring it up, it's difficult to place this in a genre. Now, naturally, you could say, oh, superhero movie. But these days, that's easy to do because superhero movies are a dime a dozen.
Right.
And some are more serious than others, and some are more funnier than others. Like Ant-Man is like a lighthearted, fun romp, lots of jokes in there. Whereas Captain America Winter Soldier is more of like a serious, straight-to-the-point espionage spy thriller kind of film. Whereas Doctor Strange is more of like a magical, mystical kind of story.
Yeah.
So but there are jokes in this. There are honest to God jokes in this, and the line deliveries are not meant to be the way they're delivered anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't get the impression that they were to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and I'm looking at IMDb, by the way, and it says it's classified under adventure, comedy, and crime.
It fits all of those. It fits all of those categories.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of putting it anything else.
Yeah, but that's 3 different genres that they're lumping into this one movie.
Right.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something?
No, I guess that's the best way to categorize this. It's a crime movie, and the beginning too, when they had the spotlight over the brick walls as a message from the producers to the audience, like, this is for people who like off the wall stuff. This is for people who like zany humor, but it's also a thank you to crime fighters everywhere, whether you're policeman, politician, or whatever.
Yeah.
This movie's for everybody who likes this kind of movie. And this is for you. Thank you for watching this, the producers.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. So what stood out to you as far as, most highlight, most, because I want to get your highlight and your low light for this movie. So what stood out to you as the best thing and the worst thing?
The things that I recognized from pop culture, there are the internet makes use of this far in form of GIFs far more than I realized. There's a scene where Batman and Robin are running to the UN building, and it's them in front of I guess a green screen, but for this time period, it's a projector of the road behind them, and they're just running in place.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be running down the street. I recognize that. That was funny to me because I just think about all of the instances that it's been used to mock things or whatever. There's also the bomb.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Some days can't get rid of a bomb. I remember at the end of Dark Knight Rises, this is spoilers for Dark Knight Rises, but it's been a few years since that movie's been out. But at the very end, Christian Bale, that Batman, is trying to get rid of a bomb before it blows up Gotham City, and he flies the bat plane out, the Batcopter, whatever the hell it is, out over the water so it blows up. I remember the internet's kind of making fun of that by playing GIFs of Adam West's Batman running down the street with a bomb held over his head. So the things I recognized, I liked. Like I said earlier, it took me a while to warm up to the deliveries, to the humor, to the jokes. Adam West's delivery of lines was very Shatner-esque. Now, I know. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know when the original Star Trek with William Shatner.
That was a lot later. I want to say like maybe
was it a lot
late
later?
70s.
Was it late 70s? Yeah, I'll wait for you to do some internet research, but maybe William Shatner modeled his performances off of Adam West.
Actually, I take that back. Star Trek, 1966, so the same year as Batman.
Same year, but then again, Batman was already out.
Right.
The TV show was already popularized at this point. This movie came out maybe a year or two later. Right. So I mean, the delivery of lines, just the stoic, deadpan delivery of a line, and then on a sudden burst of energy where they jump into action and they run away. was very funny to me. Yeah. I noticed this a few times. Burt Ward or Robin, he would deliver a line. He'd say "Holy this," or he would answer the question. He would answer a riddle, and before he finished his line, Adam West would cut him off with the beginning of his line, like they were overlapping each other.
He was interrupting him.
Interrupting him, yes. Yeah. The story itself, I thought, was just mundane. It felt like an extended episode. Yeah, and it went a little too long for me.
It makes perfect sense that this was considered as a pilot for the TV show because, making a movie making a full-length feature film, which this came in at an hour and 45 minutes, so a little less than 2 hours, about these diabolical crime villains who ultimately wanted to dehydrate these world leaders and then rehydrate them later or whatever the thing is. But they certainly left out a bunch of details, but I think they also put some filler stuff in there that really we could have done without.
Yeah, and I'm fine with missing details. I'm fine with that.
Because you kind of figure that out. But like the whole Commodore Schmidlap thing, he is such an infinitesimal role in this film.
Yeah.
You only see him 2 or 3 times, but they have this invention of his where they could have just mentioned his name. And they didn't even need to show him in there. Like, he didn't have to have a part.
I didn't even think of that. That's so right. That guy added nothing.
He added absolutely nothing to the movie except for ringing for his tea. And towards the very end, he runs over and knocks all the vials of the world leaders over. But
they didn't need him for that. They could have just had it knock over during the submarine being shooken up.
Right, of course. So, I mean, like, obviously they had to find something to do for this actor. And they were like, oh, you're going to play a guy named Commodore Schmidlap. Which, fine, whatever. But I kind of get that they showed him to establish who he was so Penguin could dress up and look like him to get to the, get to the Bat People's lair and whatnot. But, again, they could have done that without that whole person in there.
Yeah, that actor and every part of his could have been completely dropped.
Right.
And the Penguin still could have dressed up like that guy.
Right.
Like, hey, I was a prisoner on this submarine, or hey, I was a prisoner in the lair.
Right.
Take me to the Batcave.
Right. Exactly. Or whatever he wanted to do. One of the things that bothered me about this movie was that it was just it went off the wall as far as silliness goes. It was just way too silly. It's like, when they were walking up the wall, for the couple times that when they were walking up the wall and, the one guy pops his head out and he goes, nope, there was somebody walking up the wall, I take major issue with this. At the very end, right after they rehydrate all the world leaders and everything, and, Adam West looks at Robin. Batman looks at Robin and he says, okay, we now need to make our escape. Or we need to leave. Let's leave inconspicuously. Let's go out the window.
Like, you could have just walked out the door.
Yeah, I mean,
just melt into the crowd that's around you and just leave out the door.
Right, and because everybody that's there, they are so mesmerized at the fact that they rehydrated, whatever. I mean, because adding water to a vial of dust is mind blowing. So they were just mind blown at what happened.
I thought that they were mesmerized at the arguing of all of these world leaders.
Right. Well, that too. And let's not forget, because I think you mention that the way they depicted all these world leaders was like horridly.
Oh, so racist. Oh, yeah. Everyone was a caricature. No one whose country they were from spoke the language. It was obvious that they were making up. Yeah. They were just speaking gibberish to make it sound like I'm speaking French, to make it sound like I'm speaking Japanese.
Are you sure, though?
Yes.
I mean, I don't speak any. I mean, I speak a little bit of Spanish, but it didn't sound like the guy who was from Spain was making up gibberish. Like I'm sure if we played it back, we could probably figure out what they were saying. But I know what you mean. I think some of the other ones might have been more made up, but it for sure, I didn't get that from there.
For sure, the German, I don't, and disclaimer here, I'm not fluent in any of these languages. I don't speak any of these languages, but I recognize a language when I hear it. Yeah. I know what German sounds like when I hear it. Yeah. I've seen enough movies and TV to know what Japanese. I've seen enough anime to know what Japanese sounds like when it's spoken. And this guy was not speaking. I don't know what he was saying, but it was not Japanese.
Yeah, and then of course at the end when they rehydrated and they switched everybody's mannerisms around, and I think that was the more racist of the two.
Yeah,
because you had, I'm not going to quote or anything, but like you had certain people acting like stereotypical people from the countries that they were sitting in front of.
Yeah.
And it was... that was a little much for me. But then again, this is 1966 when this came out.
This is 1966.
So,
if this movie came out today...
Oh, it would offend everybody.
In this climate?
Yeah, it would... It would offend everybody. But all that aside, you know, the silliness was a little much for me. Some of the dialogue, I think, was a little much for me. I mean, I think the whole thing with when Bruce Wayne and Miss Kitka were on their little date,
yeah,
that thing went so long.
It did go far longer than it should have.
Extremely boring to me.
The restaurant scene?
What was that place? Because like you said, it was like an Indian restaurant and then you.
It looked like in the type of Indian restaurant I've been to, not many, but I've been to a few, where you go and you sit at this wide table, but you sit down on cushions.
Okay.
It's actually reminded me more of like a Moroccan restaurant.
Okay.
So you sit at this wide table and you sit on cushions, and then there's a stage area where there's a singer who's usually, or a band that's usually playing music of the restaurant that you're in, the culture that you're in.
Yeah.
There's this woman on stage singing, you said French?
It sounded like
French, but she was singing like lounge music. She was like a jazz singer, but soulful and bluesy.
I didn't get the bluesy vibe. I thought it was like a ballad, you know, type of thing.
All right. Well,
but it was like
it didn't match
the decor.
Right. The theme of the venue.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all. I didn't get that at all. And I'm sorry. We've said this on other episodes, but a lot of times when we watch these movies, we have to suspend disbelief.
Yes. And I'll suspend a lot of disbelief for this movie.
Well, you kind of have to.
You have to.
You kind of have to. But I'm sorry, but Lee Merriweather, she's a great actress. But her voice as Catwoman and her voice as Kitka are pretty fucking similar. So
yes.
Same with Bruce Wayne and Batman, you know, but...
Yeah, right, man. He doesn't even change the modulation of his voice. He enunciates things the same way as Batman, as is Bruce Wayne.
Right. So the fact that these
two... Take an acting lesson.
The fact that these two characters both don't understand or see through the disguise of the alter ego of the other two characters. You know, how Batman can't tell that Kitka is Catwoman, and how Catwoman can't tell that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
You're smarter than this. You're smarter than both of you. You're smarter than this.
Yeah, it's so blatantly obvious, and I will say, I mean, obviously Batman's mask, the whole like bottom half of his face is open, and if you cover somebody's eyes, it doesn't necessarily obstruct you from knowing who it is.
Yeah.
So. And let's not forget Robin's super secret, like
his hair is out. You can see the shape of his cheekbones, his mouth, his jawline.
Except he just has this little black mask over his eyes.
It's literally a Zorro mask.
Yeah, and I have to say I liked Alfred's little thing. He had the little.
I forgot about that.
He had the little thing over his eyes too, but he looked exactly 100% like Alfred, except the little shit on his face.
He had a Zorro mask on, and then his reading glasses on over top of that.
Right. That.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The things that you didn't like, I could forgive.
Okay.
The lines, some of the humor, I could forgive a lot of that stuff.
But you were rolling your eyes a lot.
I know. It's I accept it for what it is at the time it came out. So,
right.
Like I said earlier, not my Batman. This wasn't made for people like me. And Batman is probably my favorite superhero movie that I've seen.
Yeah.
Not my favorite comic book, but I like Batman the most. And I know it's stereotypical. Everybody loves Batman, blah, blah, blah. I'm of the camp that Batman should be the smartest ninja in the world, smartest, richest ninja in the world. That's where I'm at.
I'm with you.
That's the Batman that I grew up on and learned to love.
So let me ask you this, and I've never read any of the comics. I'm strictly my only knowledge of Batman is movies and whatever TV shows there were. I didn't even watch the animated stuff, but
animated stuff is great.
Actually, I take that back. I think I've watched a few episodes, but it wasn't like the live action Adam West Burt Ward is what I watched the most. But Batman the character has evolved so much since the inception in 1966 with Batman with Burt Ward and Adam West. Then it evolved to the Michael Keaton. The Michael Keaton, George Clooney. Who the heck was the other one?
Val Kilmer.
Thank you. Yeah, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. That sort of reign of things. Then there was the Christian Bale Batman. Of all of those, who is your pick for Batman?
Christian Bale. Oh, you've got Ben Affleck also.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. See, I disagree. I do not like the Christian Bale Batman at all, because to me. And that's kind of how I feel about the Daniel Craig James Bond. I don't like the Daniel Craig James Bond because he reminds me so much of the Christian Bale Batman, where he's like this, I am Batman, I'm going to kill you. Blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know. To me, that's not Batman. To me, Batman is Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer is Batman?
I loved Val Kilmer. I'm sorry. Michael Keaton.
Okay.
I was getting Val Kilmer and Michael Keaton confused.
Well, there's also the discussion of who's a better Bruce Wayne, because I really liked Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, but I liked the Christian Bale Batman best. Yeah.
I liked Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne, but I also, and I don't even know if I should say this, because I don't know if I should say what I'm about to say.
Oh, we're all friends.
Put that
here.
on record.
It's fine.
I kind of like George Clooney's Bruce Wayne.
Oh, no.
I know.
Oof.
I know.
That's rough. That's a movie we should do.
Yeah. What's that? Batman and Robin?
Yeah, I think it's Batman Forever.
Is that the one with...
No. Yeah, it's Batman and Robin with Mr. Freeze, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, well, we still need to recover from Blues Brothers.
Oh, yeah. We have a ways to go before we do another bad movie again.
Okay. Yeah, we want to gain listeners. We don't want to lose listeners. Yeah. Speaking of which, by the way, if you guys want to help us out, we would totally love you forever for it. Let your friends and family know about the Casual Movie Club if you like what you hear. You can find us on our website, casualmovieclub.com, and you got links all the way on the bottom that can take you to the many different places where you can listen to us. So, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. But we would love to get more folks subscribing to us and checking us out. So please share our podcast with anyone that you know and love, or even if people you don't know, just walk up to them and say, hey, this is a great podcast. You should listen to it. So you can also send us an email, casualmovieclub@hotmail.com. You can find us on the Twitter and the Instagrams at Casual Movie Club. And you can also give us a call or a text message.
At 402-882-2742. Your text or voicemail may be discussed on the next episode.
Absolutely. And if you have movies you'd like to see us review, or you want to let us know your thoughts on something we reviewed, let us know. We love hearing from you. It was weird. Last episode, I had to do the phone number. Like, I had to look up the phone number. I didn't have you here to read the phone number.
I always have it handy.
Yeah, well, that's good. One of these days, I'll just memorize it, and I'll. But
I should have it memorized by now.
Yeah, I know. So, what else? Is there anything else we want to cover on this before we do the numbers?
I don't think so.
All right. So, but all in all, would you recommend this movie?
I would recommend this movie. It's a little long. I think that this would be a good group movie if you're hanging out with people. This would be a good party movie to put on because it doesn't demand your attention.
Exactly, and there's enough going on to where at least if you pay attention in the beginning 10 to 15 minutes or so, and you sort of learn who's who.
Yeah,
you can drift on and off
Yes.
You know, with the movie and not lose anything.
You can have a side conversation with somebody for 5-10 minutes and then turn back to the movie and still enjoy it.
Right. And
as if you were watching the whole time.
Yeah. So I think I definitely recommend this. I recommend the movie, especially because of its sort of classic nature. The fact that it's the first Batman of the entire franchise, of any Batman movie. This is the very first one. So it definitely bears watching. You may not love it. You may not want to watch it again. You know, this is definitely not my favorite Batman by any means, but it's one that I definitely like it. It's got a special place for me, and it's one that I'll watch every now and then, you know, once a year or something, or if that. But I do recommend it for sure. So now, numbers.
Let's do the numbers.
Let's do them dang numbers. Now, if you're wondering what in the world we're talking about, you can go over to casualmovieclub.com, click on the leaderboard, and that will take you to our leaderboard, which is where we rank all of our movies based on things like the acting. How well did the actors convey the story? How believable were they? We talk about the script, so the quality of the writing of the script, presentation, like the editing and visual effects usage. It's too much, not enough. How was the visual element of it, the production? The music and sound, all the goodies for your ears. Soundtrack, the sound effects, score, music, all that good stuff. The uniqueness. Has this been done before? Is this a new thing, an old thing, or just a thing? Or last but not least, the engagement factor. How well does this movie keep you engaged? Are you on the edge of your seat, or are you tweeting?
I guess I'll kick it off with acting.
Yes, please. So go for it. Blah, blah, blah. Yes. Brian, the acting. What'd you think?
Now, let me preface this by saying that I know this was all intentional. All the line deliveries, everything was done the way that it was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
But the camp isn't for me, and some of it wasn't my kind of acting style.
Okay.
So not to knock on the acting style, it wasn't enjoyable to me.
Okay.
So for that, I'm going to score the acting a 3.25.
Okay, interesting. So I'm going to stay right kind of in that same vein with you. I do agree with a lot of what you said. You know, but there were things that I really did like about the acting. You know, I loved the villains. I think the villains were hilarious. Cesar Romero is the Joker. Catwoman I could do without, but honestly, I thought Burgess Meredith as the Penguin was funny also. So, you know, I'm going to kick it up a little bit, but not much. I'm going to give the acting a 3.4. And just to kick it up a tiny bit, because I think that there were certainly better actors and better people in there than others.
Better performances by these actors also.
That's exactly what I meant. So the script, the quality of the writing of the script. Now, there were some, and again, I don't know if this is part of the campiness or the cheese factor or the silliness of it, but, you know, some of the names of some of the things, you know, the shark repellent bat spray, or, you know, the Batmobile, the bat boat, the bat gas. Like there was
bat everything.
It was bat everything. And I don't know if that takes away from it or adds to it. I'm just not sure, but it was something that made me almost cringe. You know, it's like, oh, there's a let's use the bat charges, you know, when they were shooting the submarine, you know, or it was just like, I don't think you need to put bat in front of everything. I think
they had a sign for bat ladder after they rolled out the bat ladder.
Oh yeah, because okay. So I also was not a big fan of the announcer. You know, why does this movie need an announcer?
What do you mean the announcer?
The very beginning, like the narrator, you know, like
right.
Bruce Wayne and his boy Wonder are gonna take a look at what's happening, you know, blah blah whatever. I forget the line, but like
forgot all about
just
that guy.
Random guy that just starts talking at the beginning of the movie, you know, and there's no context to him. So I'm giving the script a 2.89.
That's surprisingly low and surprisingly specific.
Because I don't know if you remember from either 1 or 2 episodes ago, I decided to abandon the 0.25, 0.5, or 0.75. I've abandoned it completely.
Huh. Well,
because we average it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if you give a 2.5 and I give a 2.75, it comes out at like 2.6.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter.
Well, if I didn't like the acting, I sure as shit didn't like the script. There was a lot of filler in there, like I mentioned before.
Tons.
I think
of
the
filler.
dialogue was just it could have been better. I wouldn't give it a 2.89, but I will give it 2.5.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, while you're on the subject of giving numbers, why don't you give us the number for presentation? How did you like the visual effects, the kind of technical presentation of everything?
I thought it was fine for what it was. The driving and running scenes where they had the projector screen behind them, I thought were put to good use. Obvious fakes, naturally.
Yeah.
But I think for the style that the film was going for, I think everything was firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
There's one scene in particular where they kidnap Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne kind of tricks them, escapes, and as he's fighting his way out, a villain is put on this springboard and thrown out of a window and then blows up.
The villain, or you mean the dummy?
It was yeah. So like that kind of stuff, I thought was well done. Presentation, I think was probably the best part of this. I'll give that a 3.5.
Okay. So I agree with a lot of that, but there's one thing that I need to mention, and I don't know how that's going to affect my score because I need to sort of figure out my score. But when they were doing the fighting scene in the Batcave, right after those henchmen got rehydrated, and every time they would kick the henchman and the henchman would disappear, the edit was blatant.
Oh yeah.
Like, we're not talking like obvious. It was like you could see Bruce, you could see either Robin or Batman noticeably at least like an inch over on the screen. It's like they put zero effort into the director could say, okay, Adam West, you're gonna kick this guy, hold position. Stop the camera, bring the guy out. I mean, shit. They could have just completed the take and have Batman stand exactly where he is and then have the guy go out and just do the edit right there, or whatever it was. But I feel like that was very, very, very sloppy.
I'm wondering if it was on purpose.
I mean, it could be. It could be, and I think that is part of the beauty of being able to interpret this movie however you want.
Yeah.
Like if you want to interpret it as kind of almost making fun of Batman or like making fun of the superhero genre, sure, making it like an obvious camera trick. But I don't know, like it. I have to mention it because it's on my mind, and I would be doing a disservice if I didn't mention it. But I don't know I don't know whether that's going to bring the score down or not.
But there are some things too, like Cesar Romero, great iconic Joker, right?
Oh yeah, his laugh is awesome.
It's a really good laugh. I put it up there with the best laughs,
like Jack Nicholson's
with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
But he refused to shave his mustache for this role.
Yeah.
So they put extra makeup over it. And he's running around with a white mustache. like I can see where there might be sloppiness. I'm saying that with air quotes.
Right.
Sloppiness done for the sake of the style of the film that you're going for.
Right.
But then there's other things like that just tell me that, did he really care?
Yeah.
Or we just being sloppy?
You know what I'm going to do, just for sort of brevity's sake? I'm going to give presentation a 3.
Interesting.
Right in the middle. Music and sound, my bread and butter. I had no problems with the music and sound and the audio portion of things. I thought all the dialogue was nice and clear. I kind of liked the music style. I really liked the score of it. So I'm actually going to go music and sound 4.
I agree with most of what you said. The music
5,
is
perfect, done.
the theme song is iconic.
Iconic yet annoying, because it gets stuck in your head.
It can be annoying, I suppose.
It is the musical equivalent of glue.
The sound effects for the fight scenes also iconic. I wasn't impressed with it, but I thought it was well done, well put together. But nothing that really blew me away either. So I'm gonna score it a 3.5.
You sure?
Yes.
Is that it?
That's it.
And don't forget, you have your take backsies.
I probably won't use them.
Okay. Even though you know that music and sound is clearly better than 3.5.
I don't think that.
It's good to have you back, Brian. Uniqueness. Has this been done before?
I'd say that I don't know. Are there any other superhero movies that kind of came out before this? Probably. Maybe Flash Gordon
know about them?
Was probably came out before this, but I don't know. This movie, even though it is based off the TV show, I can't think of anything else that's come before this, or it's maybe even similar to this. So for the uniqueness of it, I want to give it, for the time, I would give it a 4.
I'm fine with that, honestly. There's nothing you said that makes me want to give it anything higher or lower, so I'm going to say 4 as well. Because also, just to mention the sort of synergy of those different styles and, pulling them together. I can't think of anything that's come out similarly other than the James Bond stuff, but I think this is way sillier than James Bond. So I think it does lend itself to some uniqueness there. Engagement factor. Now, I had seen this movie a whole bunch of times, so I was actually doing some other stuff while we were kind of started to watch the movie, so I was not drawn in, on tonight's watching specifically. But as far as the movie goes, like you said before, you were saying, were you saying this while we were recording or not? About how it's a good party movie.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Yeah. So, this is a good movie to have on in the background. It's a good movie to have on when you have some friends over. Maybe you're having a game night, and you want to have this movie on in the background. It's great for that. I really can't think of any moments. Well, I can only think of a few moments, honestly, that really would have me kind of wanting to watch what was going on. And that was, the sort of the scene at the very end, and rehydrating all those the world leaders. Maybe the running around trying to get rid of the bomb, like that was kind of funny and silly, but also a little bit of action there. So there's a couple little scenes here and there that might kind of get you looking at the screen and wondering what's happening. But there's also some really slow and draggy parts as well. So I'm going to give the engagement factor a 3.6.
Very nice.
Thank you. I try.
My engagement factor, I think it wasn't all there, and I think it was because of the length of the movie. It again took me a while to warm up to it, but once I got into it, I was in it. But I wasn't totally engaged in it just because it it didn't draw me in.
Okay.
So I'd put my engagement at around a 3.
Okay. Now, do you wish to change any of your numbers?
I do not.
Okay, because we do get our one-take maxis.
I'm going to opt not to use one.
Okay, gotcha. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the numbers are in. And I liked this movie more than you did.
Oh?
But not by much. My total average, 3.48. Your total average, 3.29.
Okay.
So, that being said, this is not, by any means, the lowest movie. That honor is still being held by the Blues Brothers 2000. So,
what's the final score?
I'm telling you right now.
I need to know.
Maybe I'm just going to make you wait a little bit more.
I'll just wait till it's posted.
Well, no, I got to read them through here. So, Batman from 1966. The acting, 3.33. Script, 2.70. Presentation, 3.25. Music and sound, 3.75. Uniqueness, 4. Engagement factor, 3.3 for a grand total average of 3.39.
Oh!
Making it right below Persona and right above Wild Wild West.
Wow.
So very interesting, but it helps True Lies a little more, which is good. So that is going to put Batman 1966 at third from the bottom.
Whew.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Too high or too low?
I feel like it's too low.
I know. I mean, so maybe we just need to start watching some bad movies so we can bump up the movies that should be higher, like True Lies.
You don't know what you're asking, John.
That's true. You did pick Blues Brothers 2000 for us, so I know there's that. But hey, if we put something below Blues Brothers, it still kicks everything else up. So, that's bound to happen. But speaking of more movies, do we want to pick the next
Let's
one?
pick the next movie.
All right. So I think, is it your turn?
I think it's my turn.
All right. Well, we all saw what happened last time you picked.
Oh, man. Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
So it'll be February next time we meet.
Right.
Oh, man. Why don't we...
So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do next week.
Okay, yeah, because you're gonna be off next week.
Yes, I'll be on vacation next week.
So I'll be doing a little mini episode, and when that's released, you'll find out what I'm talking about.
Aha! Keeping it a mystery. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, so Casual Movie Club episode 15, which is the one you're listening to right now, is going to be followed by episode 16, which will be Brian's solo mini-sode on something. So definitely check that out. But for our next episode, what are we going to do, Brian?
Well, it's going to be in February.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to give you a choice, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to... we're well out of Halloween. You know what? I'm just going to do it. We're going to watch The Craft.
The Craft?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you familiar with The Craft?
I've never seen it.
Do you know who's in it? Do you know what it's about?
I know nothing about it.
It's a bunch of prep school girls who practice witchcraft.
Okay.
It's Nev Campbell's in it.
Ah, okay.
Rachel True's in it. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head who... I just can't think of anybody else in it. But it's basically 4 girls get together and they practice witchcraft, and it's a little cheesy.
Okay.
It's a little cheesy.
More cheesy than Batman?
Not more cheesy than Batman. This is... if Batman is nacho cheese, this is probably like sharp cheddar.
Okay.
I don't even know if that's an appropriate comparison.
I was gonna ask you which one would be Cool Ranch.
Oh, this is definitely not Cool Ranch.
No. So maybe we'll have to put that out to you guys. So what movie would you say would be Cool Ranch?
Yeah, or
tweet us at Casual Movie Club with hashtag Cool Ranch.
Yeah, or what movie do you want us to review?
Yes,
that's always
let
fun.
us know. We want to know. We want to hear from you. Because we'll just keep picking movies and keep doing our podcast episodes there, But we would love to hear from all of you.
Yeah.
So that being said, next week, look for Brian's mini-sode about something. The week after that, we're going to do The Craft. And then we'll just keep on doing more movies because that's what we do here in the Casual Movie Club. So join the club. All are welcome. We would love to have you. We appreciate you tuning in and hanging with us. And until next time.
We'll see you next time.
Sorry, I just kind of gestured to Brian to say something insightful.
Do we have a sign off?
We don't. We it took us 12 episodes to get music to sign in with, so maybe we need to figure out what our sign off will be. But
that's
for now,
that's a problem for future us.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, bye.
Bye.